Climate change is already impacting the daily lives of Americans. It released an extensive report Tuesday as part of a campaign to get more citizens involved in efforts to reverse some very troubling environmental trends. CCTV White House correspondent Jessica Stone joins us now live from the White House with details.
And Mike, this report comes just a few months after the U.S. and China agreed to fight climate change together. That's the global effort. This is the United States part of the effort, and the report really has one central message to Americans. Climate change is happening, and it's happening now. Between the melting ice in Greenland and the deforestation of the Amazon River basin, it's easy for the average American to believe climate change is happening somewhere else. Tuesday, 300 global climate experts released this report telling Americans how climate change is impacting the United States and offering solutions.
It's happening now, and we need to pay attention. It is affecting us in our pocketbooks and on our land in every region of the United States.
The report says East Coast cities like New York and Washington, D.C. are vulnerable to rising sea levels. That's one reason, they say, waters from 2012's Hurricane Sandy surged so far inland, devastating coastal cities. The report also predicts greater drought and forest fire risks for the American Southwest. At least 7 western and central U.S. states are currently struggling with drought conditions, threatening crop production and affecting the prices people pay for food. The U.S. president gave interviews to top American TV weather forecasters Tuesday to lay out the regional details.
We want to emphasize to the public, this is not some distant problem of the future. This is a problem that is affecting Americans right now, whether it means increased flooding, greater vulnerability to drought, more severe wildfires. All of these things are having an impact on Americans as we speak.
Just 3 weeks ago, a United Nations climate change panel urged global governments to act faster to slow global warming.
This report brings out the need for an unprecedented level of international cooperation.
In February, China and the U.S., the world's 2 largest greenhouse gas emitters, struck a deal to implement emission reductions from heavy-duty vehicles, carbon capture, and other energy efficiency measures. The U.S. is already working on a second round of fuel efficiency standards and has reduced emissions from power generation. And China has just revised its environmental laws to stiffen penalties for environmental damage. And Mike, of course, who can forget when Premier Lu Keqiang in February said that he declared war on pollution. He said China would fight it with the same level of determination that it's fighting poverty. This is essentially a big piece of the American rallying cry on climate change. Mike?
But the reality is it's taken the U.S. quite some time just to issue this report. Why are Americans so slow to take concrete actions, would you say?
Well, a big part of it is really that the U.S. Congress isn't fully convinced that climate change is caused by humans. There are members in the U.S. Congress that represent Americans who don't believe that they can have an impact on the climate itself. And so what you have is a lot of times when there are votes about climate change in the U.S. Congress, they can't pass those bodies. So what the Obama administration has been doing is taking executive steps, for example, really using the rulemaking process in the Department of Environment, which is called the Environmental Protection Agency, to specifically address things like fuel standards. That's something we've already seen round 1, as we heard in the piece. We've got round 2 coming up next. And then, of course, the next step is really going to be here in the United States, reducing the dependence on coal for energy production. We already know that natural gas is replacing some coal energy production, and that's having a significant impact on emissions. Mike?
All right, Jessica Stone live for us at the White House. Thanks so much.